In your setting, you may use TOIL to compensate employees for working overtime. TOIL stands for Time Off In Lieu. When it's implemented into a company's policy, it allows employees to accrue entitlement equivalent to their overtime hours. By turning on the TOIL feature in eypeople, managers and employees will be able to record overtime on the system and schedule absences using TOIL entitlement. If you have administrator access, you can turn on TOIL by clicking on this cog in the top right, then going to either System Settings or Global Settings. System Settings will let you turn on the feature for one branch, while Global Settings apply to all branches. By clicking HR in the sidebar, you'll find the TOIL settings. Check the box next to Enable TOIL to turn it on. The expiry policy determines how long TOIL entitlement lasts after the date of the overtime event. This option allows the entitlement to build up indefinitely. This option resets entitlement at the end of the entitlement year, which can be assigned in the entitlement period section. Finally, this option allows you to set the entitlement to last for a custom number of days, weeks, or months following an overtime event, after which it will expire and be unusable. To apply your changes, click Save at the bottom of the screen. Turning on TOIL will cause a new screen to appear on the system. Click on the eypeople icon in the sidebar, then click Overtime Hours. From here, a manager can keep track of all overtime requests and records. If the overtime has been added by an employee through their employee app or the staff portal, it will need to be approved by a manager before the hours are added to their TOIL entitlement. Overtime records marked pending are still in need of review. Click on one to view the details of the overtime. Here you can see the overtime date, its start and end times and the total overtime hours worked, and any additional notes the employee wanted to add. Down here is what the expiry date for the overtime would be if it were approved. As a manager, you are able to edit all of these details. For instance, if you disagree about the number of overtime hours worked, you can make the change directly and address it in the notes. Even the expiry date can be edited, allowing you to extend or reduce the amount of time the employee has to use their TOIL, depending on the circumstances. Once you've reviewed the overtime event, you can either approve or decline it. If you're declining, make sure to type in your reasons before you click the button. Once you've made your choice, the overtime event status will be updated to reflect it. After approving the overtime, it will be converted into TOIL entitlement for the employee. Overtime can also be edited and updated by a manager after it has been approved, in all the ways you could before. If you change the overtime hours after approval, the employee's entitlement will be automatically updated. You can even delete the overtime instance after approving it, which will remove the equivalent amount of TOIL entitlement from the employee, even if the entitlement has already been used. If you decline an overtime instance, that is permanent, and you will not be able to make any changes to the record afterwards. If you change your mind about declining overtime, you or the employee will need to create a new overtime event. Managers can do this by clicking this button on the overtime screen. Choose the employee you'd like to add overtime for. Then fill out the rest of the fields with details of the overtime. The total hours worked will be automatically calculated based on the times the overtime started and ended. When you're done, click Submit. Since a manager added the overtime, it is automatically approved. Managers can also see overtime details for a specific employee by going to the Contracts Entitlements section of their staff profile. In the top right of this screen, you'll find the employee's TOIL entitlement, including the hours used and remaining. By clicking on the Overtime Hours tab, you'll see a list of all their overtime events. You are also able to add overtime for an employee from here by clicking this button. I hope that's helped you understand how to use TOIL on eypeople. We also have a video for non-managerial employees that explains how they can report overtime and book absences using TOIL, which you can find on our YouTube channel or through the Help Centre.